really do love the Beatles White Album, but I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
I think it's a fine little album, and I think the fact that it's got so much on it is one of the things that's cool about it.
Some people think that a few tracks should be moved around here and there, or maybe it should be a single album rather than a double album. But that's okay. As Beatles fans, we're allowed to do that. It's fun. And even I do that, and I'm the one that thinks that everything that they did was perfect and everything that happened was exactly the way it was supposed to happen. I have those what ifs that I play out all the time too, because it's fun. Except when it comes to the Beatles White Album, there's just something about it that I love, warts and all. And maybe it's those warts that I love, because it is them kind of getting back to basics. I've always felt like this was them kind of being those snotty, stinky teenagers, breaking the rules, doing whatever it was that they wanted to do, kicking the adults out of the recording studio and saying basically like, what are you going to do about it? And they're even fussing and fighting amongst themselves. But look at the results. I mean, it really is genius. And when I say genius, I'm not just talking about the Beatles collectively. The genius of the individuals really shines through on a lot of the tracks like John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And I can't name all of them, but like Julia and Blackbird, Helter Skelter, even I'm So Tired, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Ringo's drumming. Drumming with Authority here. He's coming on really strong here. And he's also got his own song on here as well. With that genius line, you were in a car crash and you lost your hair. And they really did, kick the adults out of the room during the making of this record. George Martin, in October of 1968, he went on vacation and he left Chris Thomas in charge. And on his way out the door, he kind of had a little bit of a warning for Chris Thomas. At least it sounds like a warning to me anyway. And Chris Thomas kind of remembers, he says, I can't remember word for word what he said to me, but it was something like, there will be one Beatle there, fine. 2 Beatles, great. 3 Beatles, fantastic. But the minute the 4 of them are there, that is when the inexplicable, charismatic thing happens. The special magic no one has been able to explain. It will be very friendly between you and them, but you'll be aware of this inexplicable presence. And Chris Thomas says, sure enough, that's exactly the way it happened. I've never felt it in any other circumstances. It was a special chemistry of the 4 nobody since has ever had. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's wonderful right there. But again, it sounded to me like George Martin was warning Chris, as saying, yeah, they'll pretend to be listening to you. They'll pretend to be your friend, but no, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to do whatever it is that they want to do. And that's what I think happened with the Beatles White Album. And as messy and chaotic as the White Album might seem, I've noticed some common threads that link a lot of the tracks together. For instance, the unique backing vocals. Yes. Backing vocals are all over their past albums, but there's something special about the backing vocals on the White Album. There's something extra. They're looser, and they're also a lot more front and center, like Back in the USSR, Sexy Sadie, Happiness is a Warm Gun, let's see, even Dear Prudence, Obla Dee, Obla Da, Helter Skelter, Revolution 1. And yet, like I said, they're all great on all the other albums, but these really stand out. They're a lot more creative. And as a side note, when I was thinking about this, I go back and look at the Let It Be album. There's really not a lot of backing vocals on the Let It Be album, except for like I've Got a Feeling when they have those oh yeah and oh no's on that. Maybe I'm missing one or two, but I mean, Across the Universe does have some backing vocals, but it's pretty sparse on the Let It Be album, but definitely have some John and Paul singing together. But, the backing vocals are almost non-existent. Another thing a lot of the tracks have in common on the White Album is a sense of humor.
If you want me to, I won't.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, sometimes the humor is a little bit dark, like in Sexy Sadie, Glass Onion, and the continuing story of Bungalow Bill. But you've also got Paul asking that age-old question, why don't we do it in the road? And everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey. Birthday, Back in the USSR, Piggies, Savoy Truffle, A lot of humor throughout the White Album. There's also a lot of screaming and shouting and yelling on a lot of the tracks on the White Album, like on Glass Onion, Wild Honey Pie, Bungalow Bill, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, Birthday, Yer Blues, Helter Skelter, Revolution 1, and Revolution number 9. That's the other thing with Revolution number 9. I kind of wonder, is Revolution number 9, is that supposed to be funny too? Because think about it, John and Yoko, they always had a lot of humor in their art, and Revolution 9, that is an art piece. I also love the fact that they're not really hiding who they are on the White Album. For instance, John. John is being very frustrated. He's cheesed off. He's being snarky. But at the same time, he's being introspective, tender, and loving. And Paul McCartney, he is playing with his genius. He's playing in that playground of the recording studio, and he's producing Martha, My Dear, Helter Skelter, Blackbird, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, I Will, Honey Pie. He's just doing everything all at one time, just like John is like every emotion all at one time. And George Harrison, he is coming into his own here in a very big way with While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And he's saying, I'm going to be seen and I'm going to be heard and it's going to be done right and it's going to be done my way. What can we say about While My Guitar Gently Weeps? And also Long, Long, Long. There's something really genius about that song where George gets us to lean in and really listen to Long, Long, Long. And I also love how disjointed it can sound with those drums way back there. And also that, clangy piano, that piano just kind of banging there. I just love all that. And then there's Ringo. Ringo shows us that he's not just another pretty face. He shows everybody, including John, Paul, and George, that he's the greatest drummer in the whole world. And he's also got his first song on an album, the first one that he wrote himself. And he also closes off the album in a beautiful way that only Ringo can when he sings Goodnight to John's son Julian. It's beautiful. And it's not just Ringo stepping into his power on the White Album. They're all stepping into their power here. They're shaking off the old structure, getting rid of all the old rules, all the old way of doing things. They're not going to listen to these guys anymore. They're not even going to listen to these guys over here. They're saying, we're going to do things our way. We're going to say exactly what we want to say, when we want to say it. And what are you going to do it, man? We're the Beatles, man. And I think this is what I love about it. It's that attitude, and it's all over the White Album. It really is. And it carries them all the way through the rest of their career. It's that wonderful attitude that's all over this White Album. I think that's what I love most about it. I don't know. That's just my take on it. You might have a different take on it.
I'm not a great one for that. Maybe it was too many of that. Look, what do you mean? It was great. It's sold. It's the bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up.
But that's just me. Thank you so much for being here with me again today. I really and truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace and love one another. Take care.
Beatles is Beatles are Beatle, 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 Beatle. In the end, it's like, oh, sod off with the Beatles,